check. 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. Come on. That's right. Okay. Can you hear me now? Oh, let's go. It's your boy Big Chew, the voice of the beat.
You know what I want?
Blaze up.
Come on, blaze up.
It's the beat for me.
Wah 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 for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we are. For your boy. For your boy. Also for your boy. Fix it for your boy. Drop it for your lift it up. Penny bust it open, lift it up. Yeah. Come on, lift it up. Penny bust it open for your B-O-Y. Penny for your rockin' for your lift it up, baby. Mix it with your bust or not.
Come on, blaze up. You know.
Drop me a nasty beat.
My bad. Hey y'all, happy Educational Friday. What's going on? Girl, every day I'm on here muted up thinking I'm talking and I ain't talking loud and ain't saying nothing, girl. But anyway, happy Educational Friday, you guys. I'm so sorry we missed last week. However, we are back this week in full effect. Now, last week, before we get into this, you guys, please do me a favor. Hit the like button if you have not already. Okay, hey, from Maryland. Hey, Tasha. How you doing, boo-boo? If you guys haven't already, please hit the like button. Get the video in the algorithm, number one. Also, number two, please follow me on Rumble. Please follow me on all my social media platforms over here on Voodoo Doll TV. I also have the Joe's channel, the Dollhouse. Please go follow me over there. If you just search Voodoo Doll TV, both pages and channels will pop up. It is Educational Friday. I came a little earlier today because I didn't want to be really long-winded and long toward the evening because I have a few things I need to do this evening. So we're going to get into W.E.B, Dubois. Now, if you're new to Educational Friday, welcome on in. Only thing we ask that you do is just please be please be open-minded about the information. Remember, I don't say it. I'm just telling you what they say. And it's typically from the horse's mouth. So when you come over here, you can't call me a liar because I'm giving you factual proof of my theories about these people. Because see, the point in Educational Friday, it's to expose the people that they put toward us or put in front of us as heroes. Last week we did Marcus Garvey. If you haven't been to Educational Friday before, we've done Martin Luther King. We've done who else we done around here? Child Roots, Alex Haley. We've done a whole bunch of people because we have to understand that these people, the powers that be, has a system, and they put certain people in front of us and before us to keep us messed up, confused, discombobulated, and it keeps us from our identity. There's a lot of people, melanated people, some half and half, some melanated just like us. Hell, some of even us. Yes, we did Rosa Parks too. We did Rosa Parks as well. There's a lot of people who look like me and you, the D9. We did Rosa Parks, the D9. We did a whole bunch of stuff. The Boulay, we've done the Boulay. And the Boulay umbrella is so big, and we don't even realize it yet, that all of these people that we've talked about over on Educational Friday has some ties to the D9, the Boulay, you know what I mean? Or the Freemasonry, you know what I mean? So we're going to get into those things, but what was I going? So the purpose of this is to get us to unlearn, like somebody put in the chat earlier, unlearn the lies that we were told. History is a lie. Michael Jackson has said it. A few people have said it. History is a lie. What we've been taught in school, everything you've been taught, you are to question. If you are told not to question something, or if you are shunned for questioning something, that should be a red flag that it should definitely be questioned. For instance, I am indigenous to this land. So are my parents, both sides. So are their parents, and so on and so forth. However, if you say that in a group of mixed people or black people, use the term loosely, they'll automatically say that you are ashamed of your African ancestry or heritage, when the fact of the matter is most of us here in America are not African. We have no ties to Africa. I know we did that. Y'all did y'all DNA test, y'all 23andMe. We already talked about that as well. Cap. It's all lies. It's all lies to keep you disconnected from your true identity. We spoke about this a couple days ago as well, how they're basically writing you out of existence. And I believe they have already done so. If not already done so with this whole Black American thing, I believe that if it's not done, it'll be done here in the next, in the near future. Okay. Yes, Special K. They will tell us that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, which is the furthest thing from the truth. He didn't give a care about the slaves. It was about money, and which most of this is always about. You know what I'm saying? So that green vegan said, "I'm glad I got a C in history." Girl, look, and you know what is funny? You say that. It's funny because I got A+ in history. So when I'm going through all of this, girl, my nerves is bad because I'm like, I've been lied to, random up, bamboozled, girl. It's a time. I wish I would have got a C in history, girl. Because it's hard for me. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, try not to laugh. How you doing, boo-boo? So today we're discussing W.E.B. Du Bois. This is off the heels of us discussing Brother Marcus Garvey. That's who we talked about last week. If you're unfamiliar with kind of some of the stuff that we talked about as it pertains to Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican. He was a Jamaican who came over to America to tell American Negroes, hey, y'all is really African, so y'all need to go on back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? So that's who Marcus Garvey was. He has been celebrated by the likes of Dr. Umar, a lot of history or whatever, as he was a great person. We've already gone over the fact that Brother Marcus Garvey was, in my opinion, what I believe to be a plant. He had ties to eugenics, KKK, and he was trying to get Black people to go to Africa, even though he himself had never gone there. And he was trying to take them on some lemon ships. The ships wouldn't make it past go, but it is what it is. Thank you, Twins Vanity, for becoming a member. Thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Twins Vanity 96. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, I always found it funny that this Jamaican man comes all the way from Jamaica, leave all the so-called Africans behind in Jamaica to come over to America to tell us over in America that we need to carry our behinds down to Africa because we really from Africa. You can't make this stuff up. You got to go look at my last Educational Friday over on Marcus Garvey, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, Marcus Garvey bled over into W.E.B. Dubois. You know what I'm saying? The boys. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it pertains to Marcus Garvey, him and W.E.B. Du Bois did not see it for each other. They could not stand each other. I know a lot of y'all may not be familiar, or a lot of y'all are familiar with who he is, but W.E.B. Du Bois was in my opinion, another plant. He founded the NAACP. Not only did he found the NAACP, he was one of the people who was against the Back to Africa movement that Marcus Garvey was trying to push. Now, I don't know if it's because he really believed in it or because maybe he just didn't like Brother Marcus Garvey. But either way, he didn't like that Negro. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, KJ, for the super chat. Get yourself a bottle of Pinot Grigio. Cheers. Yes, girl, I ain't had a bottle of Pinot Grigio, girl, in a long time. And I love me my Pinots, my Pinot Noir. I love my red, and I love my Pinot Grigio, my whites. Y'all know I used to be a wine kind of sore. You know what I'm saying? What you mean it's not letting you? Thank you again for the super chat. What you mean it's not letting you? It's not letting you do it. Hit the $. If you can't do it on your phone, if you got an iPhone, from what I'm hearing, a lot of people with iPhones say they can't do it on their phone. You might have to go to a desktop or iPad. Sorry about that. So yeah, but hit the $, where you can send a super chat. There should be a option for membership. Okay. So, okay, where was I? Okay, yeah. So Marcus Marcus Michael Garvey, he came over from Jamaica to tell us we need to go ahead on back to Africa. Okay. And W.E.B. didn't too particularly like that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like it. You know, he said you need to go ahead on about your business or whatever. This ain't what you want. My people don't need to go nowhere. Mind you, W.E.B. Du Bois he was one of the original founders of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Now, why is this important? That colored people is very, 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 very important. The reason behind that is because when you look at so-called colored people, that could mean a whole wide array of people. It doesn't have to necessarily be the indigenous melanated copper colored people who are here today. It could be anybody, okay? But ultimately, it was sent under the guise, or it was presented under the guise that it is something for us, by us. But the fact of the matter is the NAACP has probably been the number one, if not one of the number one biggest issues that we've had in our existence, okay? Okay, what happened with KJ? Why was KJ hitting? I'm confused. What happened with KJ? Who hit KJ? Was that done by mistake? Hold on. Who hit KJ, you guys? And why? Hold on. Hold on 1 second, you guys, because I want everybody. Hold on. Who hit KJ and why, if I can ask? I don't know if it's going to let me unhide her. Hey, y'all gonna have to get used to the ads, y'all. I gotta make money. I did this for free for 3-4 months, y'all. Tevin Jones said I'm scared. The ads be throwing me off. Sorry, fat. You're gonna have to get used to that. I don't know how to unhide her. I don't know how to unhide KJ. You guys, mods, please be careful with these buttons and who y'all are pressing. Please be careful, okay? Please be careful. We don't want to unhide or hide people, you know what I mean, on mistake. Y'all have to be careful, you know what I mean, with the people that you guys are hiding, because I don't think KJ did nothing wrong, and I don't know why she's hidden, and I'm trying to see how I can unhide her from the chat. Hold on. Mods, be careful with the people that these buttons y'all pressing and the people y'all hiding. Please be careful. Please. Let me see. Can I do it from here? Nope. Nope. Yo, I don't know how to unhide her. Y'all, be careful with that. Jeez Louise. Hold on. How to unhide her? Go to Google, people and sharing unblock. Hold on. What you mean go to Google, people and sharing? You guys, y'all are messing up the flow of the stream. Do not hide nobody. Don't do that, because this is not okay. We want everybody to be able to be here. Now, if it's somebody being negligent or being nasty, then that's one thing. But y'all got to be careful with this. Go to Google, people and sharing, because this is just interrupting the stream. To see the people you interact with and photo. I don't know how to unhide her. I don't. I really don't. And I feel so bad. Don't hide nobody. Moving forward, don't nobody hide nobody. Okay? I'll hide or ban whoever I want to hide or ban. Don't nobody hide nobody. Try clicking your profile picture and go to YouTube Studio in the settings. I mean, I'm on here now. I don't know how to unhide her though. Hold on, y'all. This is really interrupting the stream. This is annoying me now. I'm getting mad. Do not hide nobody. Nobody hide nobody. Period. I'm the only one gonna ban. I'm the only one gonna hide. Don't nobody hide nobody. Because this literally interrupting the stream and it's making me upset. Y'all gotta be careful with that. Nobody gets to hide nobody. I'm the only person hide or ban people. Don't nobody do that. The only thing mods need to be doing is timing out. That's it. That's it. Because this is interrupting the stream now. Content. Let me go to the settings. Channel. This literally interrupting the stream. This making me mad. Audience. Simplified. Do you want to search the channel? I don't even have the time to. KJ, I am so sorry. KJ, I am so sorry to KJ. I am so apologetic for this. I am so sorry. Please accept my apology. I'm sorry, KJ. I don't know how to unhide her right now, and I don't have the time to just sit down and figure it out. I am apologetic, extremely apologetic to you, KJ. I am sorry. That was a mistake. It wasn't on purpose. Mods, do not hide. Watch your buttons. Watch your buttons. Don't hide nobody. Don't ban nobody. I'm the only one do that. Watch your buttons, mods, please. If you got to put your phone down, that's one thing. But hide, don't hide nobody. Don't ban nobody, because that's messing up the you know what we got going on. And I don't see nothing on here, and I'm in settings. I don't see nothing on here that's gonna let me unhide this person. Let me see. Let me do a Google. Undo hide user from YouTube. This is a 38-second clip. Hold on.
To unhide or unban a user on YouTube is very simple. So let's get started. First, you need to go and click on your name, on your icon here, and then click on YouTube Studio. Then you need to click here in the corner on the settings, and then you need to go to the community, and then we have moderators, approved users, and at the bottom here we have a hidden.
Hold on. I know how to do it now. I know how to do it. Hold on. I didn't scroll all the way down. I'm sorry, y'all. Hidden users. All right. I unhid KJ. Sorry, you guys. Who else on here might need to be unhid? Is that it? KJ, I'm sorry. Can you comment so I can know if you're on here? KJ, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Please, mods, be careful with the buttons, please. Please be careful with the buttons. I'm begging you guys, please be careful with the buttons. Mods. KJ, if you're on here, you're able to comment again. I just unhid you. You need to comment so I can see. Okay? Where were we? Oh, let me read these super chats. Azure TV, thank you for the super chat. It says, oh, thank you, KJ. She said, I kept saying keep going, Vu, I can hear. Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure you were straight. So that's all right. Thank you, Azure TV. It says lots of members in the Blue Vein Society eventually helped shape what will be the NAACP. The Blue Vein Society was made up of primarily MGMs. Yes. A lot of y'all may not know about the Blue Vein Society. We'll discuss that on another stream. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Azure TV. You'd be surprised who was funding these organizations, right? You'd be heavily surprised. I'm not, and we're going to get into it today. You'd be surprised who's funding all of this. I'll just say that. Thank you, Meek with the brown eyes, for the super chat. Thank you for loving the culture enough to right the wrongs. Thank you so much for your generous super chat. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm very humble. Thank you. Thank you, Pretty and Well, for the super chat. Hey, Voodoo, happy Educational Friday. Do you have to be on live for us to become a member? I have an iPhone and it's not working for me either, but I will try on laptop when I get off. Pretty and Well, from what I'm understanding, because let me see. I have my iPad right here. So when I click on the thing, yeah, it's not giving you the option to be a member on my iPad. You'll have to do it from a desktop. Yeah, I don't know what it is with iPhone or Apple, but Apple don't like y'all to have all the features on YouTube. But YouTube is by Google, and Google is an Android society. So maybe that's y'all punishment for having iPhones. I don't know, girl. Maybe YouTube is punishing y'all for having iPhones, but I'm sorry about that. Yeah, they don't give y'all the option because I literally just picked up my iPad and they didn't give me one either. So you'll have to do it from a desktop, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you, voiceovers by Stephanie Marie. Happy Friday, doll, and thank you for all you do. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much for the generous super chats. Now, where was I? Oh, W.E.B. Dubois, or whatever the case may be. He, founded one of the original founders of the NAACP, who has never done anything for the Negro community. Okay, let's go get W.E.B. on here. Get him up here. Now, he's one of those people, like I told y'all, that is revered in history by the Clears and even by some Negroes because of their ignorance, or maybe they know and they just dumb. But either way, he's revered in history as one of these people who was, for us, by us. They was trying to FUBU W.E.B. on us, and I ain't like it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, here's W.E.B. right here. Where my cursor at? And we're going to get into a video too. Here's W.E.B. right here. He was born 23rd February, 1868. And he rests his soul on August 27, 1963. Okay. Now let's get into a couple of little deets about W.E.B. Dubois. Okay. He was a scholar, writer, editor, and civil rights pioneer. Was born William Edward Burghardt Dubois. That's what the W.E.B. stand for. William Edward Burghardt. All right. In Great Barrington, Massachusetts, to the son of Mary Savannah Burghardt, a domestic worker, and Alfred Dubois, a barber and itinerant laborer. In later life, Dubois made a close study of his family origins, weaving them rhetorically and conceptually, if not always accurately, into almost everything he wrote. Born in Haiti, remember, did I not tell y'all a lot of these people who are transplants, or a lot of the people who are put in a position to confuse you are transplants? Did I not say that? Now, he was born in Haiti and descended of mixed race Bahamian slaves. Mixed race Bahamian slaves. That means his parents, or one of his parents, was a mixed race Bahamian, a half and half, okay? Bahamian slaves, where was I? Yeah. Born in Haiti and descendant of mixed race Bahamian slaves, Alfred Dubois enlisted during the Civil War as a private, in a New York regiment of the Union Army, but appears to have deserted shortly afterwards. He also deserted the family less than 2 years after his son's birth, leaving him to be reared by his mother and the extended Burghardt kin. Long residence in New England, the Burghardt descendants from a freedman of Dutch slave origin. Dutch slave origin. Let's say that again. Long resident in New England, the Burgharts, that's the mama side, were descendants of from a freedman of Dutch slave origin who had fought briefly in the American Revolution. Under the care of his mother and her relatives, young Will Dubois spent his entire childhood in that small western Massachusetts town where probably fewer than 200 of the 4,000 inhabitants were African American. Under the care of his mother and her relatives, young Will Dubois spent his entire childhood in that small western Massachusetts town where probably fewer than 200 of the 4,000 inhabitants were African American. Let's stop right here. Okay. W.E.B. came from mixed race Bahamian slaves, right? And he was raised by his mammy, right? Who was also a descendant of freedmen of Dutch slave owner. Clear. You see what I'm saying? So not only that, he was born in Haiti, yet here's another transplant coming over to America to tell the so-called American Negroes who they are and to help them out. My question to these transplants have always been this: why aren't they at their house doing what they need to do over there? I'm pretty sure there's things that need to happen down in Haiti. Oh, for sure, definitely in Haiti, in Bahamas, all of these places. Why over here? It's given he ain't even from Acorn. That's what it's given. He ain't even from Acorn. Yet and still, here we are again. Same story, different storyteller. Mind you, they render him and revere him as an African American when we just saw ain't no such a thing. He wasn't even raised around niggas. Quiet as his kept. Didn't y'all just hear him say that? He was raised in a town in Massachusetts where less than 200 of the 10,000 inhabitants were even niggas. He ain't even from Acorn. I got it queued up. Hold on. I think I still got it queued up. He ain't even from Acorn. But yet we're being told that he was one of us. Look how crazy that is. Look how crazy that is. He African American, or one of the African Americans revered, and then all of a sudden we get over here and we find out he ain't got no African or American in him nowhere. This what it's given to me.
He ain't even from Acorn.
You see what I'm saying? He ain't even from Acorn. Thank you for the super chat, L.W.E.B. Blessings, Boo. Thank you for your time. I've also been trying to become a member. I love your content. Yeah, I'm sorry, L.W.E.B. I think it's the Apple thing. You know what I mean? I think it's the Apple thing. I'm so sorry. You might have to go to a desktop to do it. That's YouTube playing on y'all top with the iPhones. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the super chat. But he ain't even from Acorn. What? This is the so-called African American brother who was the best at, for us as a people.
He ain't even from Acorn.
Girl, bye. Exactly. He ain't even from Acorn. But again, like I told y'all when I was talking to y'all on the morning Joes, what do? They done already confused us into believing we are all the same. We are one. They have us believing we are one, and the whole time we ain't nothing of the sort. Okay? Okay, you guys like the video if you haven't already. Now let's get back to it. So we found out so far he's Bahamian, born in Haiti, and he wasn't raised around hardly no nickels. Okay? That's what we know so far, okay? Now, boom. Then it says he received a classical college preparatory education in Great Barrington's racially integrated high school, from whence in June 1884, he became the first African-American graduate. It says, now, pause. See how they write your history? See how they write your history? We just found out he ain't nickel. And they say now he the first African-American to graduate from Wentz School. What is going on? A prestigious or a precocious youth, Dubois not only excelled in high school studies, but also contributed numerous articles to two regional newspapers, the Springfield Republican and the Black-owned New York Globe, then edited by T. Thomas Fortune. Again, this is why reading comprehension is extremely imperative and important. Because if you didn't understand that right before they said he was the first African American to graduate from that school, you would have missed the part where they said he ain't even nigga. This is extremely important. In 1888, Dubois enrolled at Harvard as a junior. He received a B.A. cum laude in 1890 and M.A. in 1891, that's his master's, and a Ph.D. in 1895. Dubois was strongly influenced by the new historical work of German-trained Albert Bushnell Hart and the philosophical lectures of William James, both of whom became friends and professional mentors. Other intellectual influence came with his studies and travels between 1892 and 1894 in Germany, where he was enrolled at Friedrich Wilhelm III University, that commonly refers to as the University of Berlin, but renamed the Humboldt University after World War II. Because of this expiration of Slater Fund Fellowship that supported his stay in Germany, Dubois could not meet the residency requirements that would enable him that would have enabled him to formally stand for the degree in economics, despite his completion of the required doctoral thesis on the history of the U.S. or the Southern U.S. agriculture during his tenure. Returning to the United States in the summer of 1894, Dubois taught classic and modern languages for 2 years at Wilberforce University in Ohio. While there, he met Nina Gomar, a student at the college whom he married in 1896 at her home in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The couple had 2 children. By the end of their first year at Wilberforce, Dubois had completed his Harvard doctoral thesis, The Suppression of the African Slave Trade to the United States of America, 1638 to 1870, which was published in 1896 and the inaugural volume of the Harvard Historical Studies series. I'm going to just take these off because one of my earrings flew over here. Let me say this. Dubois was raised by his clear mama. Let's start there first. He was raised by his clear mama. Thank you, Measure Man, for the super chat. It says, we tagged you on IG. We ain't stealing your info. LOL. Huh? We love you and want to know who you talking about? What happened? Look now. We tagged you on IG. We ain't stealing your info. Who is this? Girl, where y'all coming from with all of this? Hold on. Let me go to IG. What happened? What? Who I said somebody was stealing my info? Are you talking about earlier when somebody was saying that somebody copied my whole stilo, my whole flow, word for word, bar for bar? Is that what you're talking about? Hold on, let me go see. What's this? I'm confused. Voodoo just thought this would be a page to get some tea and to see. I don't see nobody tagging me. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, boo boo. You gotta be more look now, we tagged you on IG. We ain't stealing your info. LOL. We love you. I don't understand. I don't understand. I really don't understand the comment. I'm sorry. I'm not being funny. I really don't understand what you're saying. Measurement, if you can, please elaborate on what you're talking about, because I don't really understand what you're saying, to be completely honest. He said, yeah. I don't see a tag from nobody, though. I'm confused. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm confused. I am dead. Like, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. You're going to have to email me. I don't know what's happening. Thank you for the super chat, though. I don't know what's going on, and I really don't have time to really deal with it right now, but I'm confused. Here's a link under Stop Balenciaga. Huh? I don't see a tag though. Let me see. I am confused. Y'all, please, when we do an Educational Friday, please, I don't have time. I really don't. I don't want to be distracted, y'all. Hold on. I can't deal with it right now. Sorry. Thank you, Measure Man. You got to send me an email. I don't know what you're talking about. You got to send me an email and we'll discuss it another time. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, yeah, where was I? And I'm not trying to be rude, you guys. I swear. I'm not being rude. It's just that I can't right now. He's saying he tagged your page to his page for content and what you're airing now, voodoo. What? He's saying he tagged my page. He tagged your page to his page for content on what you're airing now. What do you mean tagged it? What are you talking about? I don't understand what y'all are saying. He's saying he tagged your page to his page for content on what you're airing now. So is he streaming what I'm streaming right now? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that he's right now live streaming what I'm streaming right now? Because if that's the case, now we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Don't stream what I'm streaming right now. Don't stream what I'm streaming right now. That's not how you do that. That don't go like that. Don't stream what I'm streaming right now. Now, if you want to go back and put commentary over what I'm saying, fine. Y'all really blowing. I'm about to get off. I swear to God, I'm about to get off. Y'all blowing me. And I'm not even trying to be mean, but I'm really trying to get what I need to get in. I keep getting distractions and y'all blowing me. I ain't gonna hold you. Y'all blowing me. I don't have no email. Anyways, don't stream me when I'm streaming right now. This live is crazy, ain't it? It's just like distraction after distraction. It really is. Like we over here trying to teach. No, he was letting you know he may have tagged you and he is not stealing your content. I'm about to cut them off. I ain't gonna lie. I'm about to cut the comments off because this is crazy. Yeah, not now. Anybody taking something from me, you can use my content. Just put commentary over. That's it. You can use my content, put commentary over it. That's it. Don't just play my stuff because now that's stealing. Take my time, take my commentary if you want to, put commentary over it, and that's just that. Period. We don't have to do all this other extra stuff because y'all really blowing me off with what I need to be doing. For real, y'all annoying me. For real. It's just distraction after distraction. But anyways, what is given with W.E.B. is he was raised by the clear side of the family. Okay? He was raised by the clear side of the family. And they were able to provide him with education that most people won't be able to get. He studied abroad in Germany. He never was raised with Negroes, right? And then also on top of that, even the people in Germany wouldn't give him his doggone education or his doctorate degree. And then he came back to America and wrote a thesis on the African American slave trade. How, Sway? What would a person like W.E.B. Dubois know about the African American slave trade? What would W.E.B. Dubois, a person who's not African American, who don't have any experience with, or mostly hardly any experience with African Americans, he wasn't raised with them, he didn't shoot marbles with them, he ain't one. What would he know about the African American slave trade? Ask yourself that. But neither here nor there, because they are telling us that he's a so-called African American. We have revered him as such, and he is not. Okay? That is very important. Remember I told y'all about the whole we ain't from Acorn and all that type of stuff? You have to be able to understand who these people are, because they are putting them in our communities, making them seem like there's somebody that they're not. We cannot do this. We cannot. We have to be able to say, hold on. You can't tell. It's almost like me going to Jamaica trying to teach the Jamaicans about their history. I don't know nothing about no Jamaica. Even if I studied Jamaica, I cannot go to an indigenous Jamaican person and try to give them their history. Yet and still, the government and the powers that be has continuously given us our history through people who cosplay and look like us, or the clear people. And it has to stop. This is why knowing your identity helps you identify the ops. W.E.B. Dubois was an op. Now, he was against Marcus Garvey in the whole Back to Africa thing, but ultimately they were both still ops. This is a clear-cut example of that so-called lesser of two evils that people be using when they want to go vote for whoever they want to vote for. Okay? So, let's move on. Let me get this off of here. So, boom. That's a little early childhood education on W.E.B. Now, like I told y'all before, W.E.B. was, in my opinion, was placed in a position that he was in just so that he can do exactly what he did. Now, W.E.B. has been allegedly, W.E.B. was also, what's this? Hold on. No. Yeah, W.E.B. was allegedly placed as the founder of the NAACP for a reason. Again, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, which we have never seen. We don't know nothing about. Because the NAACP, what they did, in my opinion, back in those days was, this is what they did. What they did was, what they did was they made it seem as if they were doing something for the community. But the fact of the matter is they were not. What they would do is, remember, if you guys recall that whole situation with the civil rights movement, and remember they would say, oh, so-and-so went to jail, or Martin Luther King and his followers went to jail, and they were bit by dogs, and they were bailed out by the NAACP. You have to understand, these people are all intertwined into one. All intertwined into one. So they made it seem as if they were doing something for Black people, when the fact of the matter is they were not. It was also the NAACP in Mississippi when people was ready to have an uproar and an outcry about the whole voting rights situation and how they were being treated in Mississippi. It was them who came down and basically was like, oh no, you guys need to calm down. Follow the NAACP. Okay? The fact of the matter is the NAACP was not who we thought they were. They were basically put in a position to make it seem like they were somebody, but they actually were not the people who we thought they were. The NAACP has not then, and even to this day, done anything for Black people. For the most part, you get awards. You get an award ceremony. That's what you get from the NAACP. But other than that, nothing. Period. All right. So now that we've gotten through that, I want to share this video with you guys. Shout out to UBTV. This is in his Boule series. Y'all, this series is so good. I want to watch it again. This is also a series. Where he discussed Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Dubois, Freemasonry, all of that stuff. Mind you, these people were funded by the clear people. The NAACP was funded by the clear people. Now ask yourself this. Why would the clear people fund something for the advancement of so-called colored people, right? If they don't deal with us, they don't want nothing good for us. Why would they fund something like this? And why are they not putting their face on the forefront? Why are they putting another so-called Negro face on the forefront? You get it? Because it's all a scam and a sham. It's literally what it is. Yes, grape tea, that's a good example. It's the exact same with HBCUs. HBCUs ain't owned by one nigga. In fact, most of them are named after clear people. Spelman. They're named after the clear. Yeah, people be thinking when you go to an HBCU, that's funds going into black people's pockets. No. Negroes don't own no institutions. That's the clear people. Now, this I agree with. B-Dub says HBCUs are tricky. They provide a different experience. Let me tell you something. My daughter goes to an HBCU. I did go to an HBCU for like a semester. Then I got pregnant with my daughter. But I went to an HBCU. I didn't go to HBCU. My daughter went to a school that was like mixed and mostly clear, but mixed. I encouraged her to go to an HBCU because I felt like, hey, girl, you need to go get that experience being around your people. The actual experience of an HBCU is bar none incomparable to any other experience. My daughter even says that. It is incomparable to any experience, but it's not because of the institution itself. It's because of the people who attend the institution. What does that mean? If a whole bunch of us, for instance, in the chat, if a whole bunch of black people throw a barbecue right now, if all of us in the chat were black and we threw a barbecue right now, it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be the music gonna be good, the food gonna be good, the game, spades, we playing spades, we playing dominoes, the vibe, the energy, everything is gonna be great. Now, if the chat was half and half, meaning half of us was Negro and half of us was clear, and we threw this barbecue, the environment is not going to be the same. So with that being said, you have to understand the experience don't come from the institution itself. The experience, comes from the people, which is us who attend. And it is bar none, second to none. Second to none. Thank you, True Love Kisses, for the super chat. It is second to none, okay? So, although you get that experience, it doesn't necessarily negate the fact that the institution is still not in a position or not there for the betterment of so-called Negro or black people, okay? Thank you, True Love Kisses, again for the super chat. If you can send your child, if your child is going to college and you black on here, I ain't gonna hold you. If you have a child that's going to college and they black on here, I would suggest you do send them to an HBCU. Because a lot of the things that they would experience in them other PWIs, they're not going to experience that at HBCUs as far as racism and all that stuff. I would tell you if your child's going to college. You know what I mean? But ultimately, it's us who provide the experience, not the institution. But at the end of the day, the strings, who's pulling the strings behind that? The clears. The clears. But yeah, I would suggest if y'all cheering going to college, tell them go to HBCU. At least not everybody, but because even nowadays, child, they put more clear people in them too. Oh yeah, clear people all in the band. Oh, the clears are coming. And guess what? They get the same they get the discount because they are the minority. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But let me share this video. This is episode 5 of the Boule. Shout out to UBTV. That's whose stuff I'm using right now. Shout out to UBTV. He is explaining the Boule and Marcus Garvey. Remember last week we left off on Marcus Garvey and them and whatnot. This is kind of like to be continued, but kind of bringing in the whole W.E.B. Dubois type of thing, right? Is this showing? Let me see if y'all can see it. And we're going to go over some stuff in this video. All right. Now let's get into it. If you haven't seen Marcus Garvey week before, please go check it out because you'll understand exactly where we're coming from with W.E.B. So this is really important.
In this episode,
pause. This is very important. You see this diaphragm or this diamond, the how you say it, Hegelian deception. This is all of the agendas that are pushed toward us to keep us separate and confused, right? Period. It's all big agendas. It's all it is. So it's no different like religion. You know, religion has Hebrew Israelites or Baptists or Catholic. It's all a bunch of stuff to keep us discombobulated and confused, right? So you got at the top, in slavery or racism. Over here, antithesis, civil rights movement, affirmative action. Down at the bottom, universal slave regardless of race, which is synthesis. And then over here, thesis is abolition and emancipation. You have to be mindful that these things are put in front of you not to help you, but to really just keep you confused and divided.
we will delve into the dichotomy and the philosophy of American Black identity and consciousness.
And you guys, I'm sorry about the ads, but I got to make money, y'all. Like I said, I've been doing this stuff for free for 4 months. Shout out to the people who support it. I'm not saying that, but I missed out on a lot of money. We're going to have to get used to the ads, baby. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got to be compensated for sitting at this computer for almost 8 hours, almost every day, girl. I got that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, a German philosopher known for idealism in the early 19th century. His ideas became the foundation for Marxism, a philosophy attributed to Karl Marx.
Mm-hmm.
The ideas of Marx were the foundation for communism.
And let me say this too. All of these movements are funded or backed or created by the clear people. These clear people are going to lead all the way up to the NAACP and everybody. You have to understand that, okay? Y'all thinking these people coming up on here is for you, by you. They're not. They have people behind them. We've seen that with Marcus Garvey.
For the purposes of moving this discussion further, we will steer clear from the minutia of Hegelianism to avoid a gymnastics class in truth, semantics, contradiction, and logic.
I want to read this.
It's important to note that
it says Hegelianism is the philosophy of G.W.F. Hegel, in which reality is grounded through a conceptual structure. Pure concepts are not subjectively applied to sense impressions, but rather things exist for actualizing their prior pure concept. Organic human life is the concept in its most actualized form, which reality is grounded through a conceptual structure. Pure concepts are not subjectively applied to sense impressions, but rather things existed for their actualizing their prior pure concept. So, okay, it's given conceptualism is what they're talking about. Reality is grounded in conceptualism, concepts. Okay.
men who taught Hegel or Hegel himself did not create the science of these philosophical viewpoints, which stand the test of ages, but rather Hegel recreated its implementation into society during the 19th century as a developing strategy for governing the masses and predicting future outcomes. The modern study of this methodology can directly trace to his schoolhouse. This particular schoolhouse is located in the heart of Germany.
Thank you, Miss Kitty. She says, hey, Vu, just made it. I'll watch from the beginning later. I had withdrawal symptoms from missing last week. I'm sorry. Thank you, Miss Kitty. Thank you for the love. I appreciate you. Thank you. Sorry about that. Girl, I was all over the place last week. I was in New Orleans, girl, in Mississippi. I'm sorry about that, though. But thank you so much for everything. Hold on. All right. So remind you, like I said, all of these stuff that we have are backed by the clears. You have to be mindful of that, okay?
Hegelianism, Marxism, communism, and socialism are dialectical progressions of the very same philosophy. Its purpose, control the masses through the introduction of opposing philosophies.
Did I not just read to y'all that W.E.B went to college in Germany, the University of Berlin? Wow, what are the odds? It's such a coincidence. W.E.B went over to the same college.
And a predominant tool of this methodology is propaganda. This propaganda was used to build movements based off opposing ideas, which were presented by the controlling elite as solutions to the public addressing certain problems. An example of this in America were the opposing philosophies among Indigenous Americans regarding the ideas of integration versus segregation. And within those ideas, there are varying schools of thought. Moreover, by classifying people's identity with their affinity for a certain idea, even further divides a chosen party into separate entities, thus weakening the party's overall stance. Take the supporters of segregation, for example. In the beginning philosophy of Booker T. Washington, his idea of segregation was kind of a passive assimilation, where so-called blacks would be allowed employment, education, and the opportunity to operate within a white-dominated society.
Now look, peep this. Booker T. Washington had the philosophy of segregation, right? It says passive assimilation. That just means like, hey, we just gonna assimilate to the clears. We're just gonna, whoop the whoop over here, but we just gonna mind our manners and, be passive with it. We don't want to go to war. We don't want to fight. We just want them to just be okay with us, being around. That's what it's given. Also, opportunity for training and employment. This is Booker T. Washington. He said he also wanted opportunity for training and employment. Now, what is that? That means, okay, hey, Mr. Clearman, yeah, hey, I know y'all don't really like us, and that's fine. As long as y'all let us live, we cool with it. But can we at least get some training and education and employment, some work? Still having the enemy basically be in charge of you, but be passive about it. And live without violence. Mr. Clearman, please don't come over here and burn our houses and our women and unalive us. Please don't do that, Mr. Clearman, please. That's what Booker T. Washington's philosophy was. Mind you, all of this is rooted from the clear people.
Society without the threat of violence. In this philosophy, his solution was that over time, with the ability to acquire trade and skills training, the oppressed would build themselves up into a self-sufficient people. The notable caveat being, these people would basically be relinquishing any status as citizens and officially identifying themselves as unequal or second-class citizens, to which W.E.B. Dubois called a compromise. In Garvey's philosophy, segregation involved the complete displacement of so-called blacks from the continent. In comparison to Booker T's principle, the Back to Africa movement is a dramatic shift in concept. Yet overall, these two viewpoints were the segregation of blacks from the continent.
Now look what Marcus Garvey wants, segregation. All of these people are backed by the clears. He wants segregation, complete removal of blacks in America, found nation in Africa. Now, mind you, they had Liberia, that they took Negroes from here and brought to Africa, in Liberia and Sierra Leone. So the Liberian people were African, so-called African Americans from here. Now, think about if you were in position of power. You got one clear person. Let's say you're the first person in position of power. You the clear. You the powers that be. And you need Negroes to carry out your doctrine. The first one says, okay, I'm gonna pick me a Negro and get him to go and say, y'all just be passive and ask them people for peace and to give us jobs. Doesn't that help his agenda more than ours? Then you got another clear person go get Marcus Garvey and say, hey, bro, just go tell them all they're African and take them back to Africa. That way we can get rid of them and be done with them. All of this is to help their agendas. None and never was to help ours. Special K says, Voodoo, is it because he really believed our place was not in America? I don't believe that he really believed that, Special K, if you want me to be honest, because if he really believed that, I think he would have been trying to get the people in Jamaica back to Africa first. Because remember, the slave trade happened from so-called Africa to the so-called West Indies, or what they thought were the West Indies, which is North America, South America, and all the islands around. I think that he was bought and paid for. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Just like W.E.B, Booker T, and all of them, we were bought and paid for. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe.
Comparison to Booker T's principle, the Back to Africa movement is a dramatic shift in concept. Yet overall, these two viewpoints were the segregationists Washington and Garvey's chief strategies for solving the American race problem in the early 20th century. Although Garvey was an avid supporter of Washington, their prevailing tenets were quite contrary to one another. This is a prime example of the succession of an initial concept into an antithetical position. Now, the rationale behind the standard is nearly in diametric opposition from its original concept. Did Washington's philosophy include Africa? Did Garvey's plan involve any passive acquiescence to whites? Yet, these strategies somehow come out of the same school of thought that on the surface may not seem so clear, while opponents saw Booker Washington's platform as a wholesale submission to whites via the proposed allegiance to Jim Crow. Garvey's plan was the solution to that problem. Garvey asserts that America is a white man's country, and the Negro will never receive justice in a white man's country. Therefore, he should have his own land in his own country, or continent, so to speak.
Let me stop this. Mind you, if you're the person who's in charge of the chess board or the Monopoly board, and you know what you want the outcome to be, they literally pinned Marcus Garvey on this side, Booker T on that side. So that's going to divide the people, because some people are going to go with Marcus Garvey and some people are going to go with Booker T. But the fact of the matter is, no matter which way you go, none of these are to suit you. You got Marcus Garvey over here saying that America is a clear man's country. How, Sway? How? Because even if we were to believe what they said, which was the so-called Native American were here, this country still don't belong to them. So how is this a white man's country? Then, okay, the solution is just take everybody back to Africa and get your own land. So you think you're going to go to Africa and just claim land? You ain't going to have to fight nobody. You ain't going to have to deal with nobody. That don't go like that. That's why a lot of the African-Americans, so-called African-Americans who went to Africa ended up slaves or unalive. You don't just go, you see what I'm saying? And then you got Booker T on the other hand saying, y'all, let's just assimilate and beg them not to unalive us and give us some jobs. No matter how, and again, this is what the divide does. It keeps us all going this way, that way. It's the same thing with religion. You got some people believing with Marcus Garvey. You got other group of people believing in Booker T. Washington. But the fact of the matter is, no matter which side you choose, like the Republican and the Democrat, none of them are here to serve you. Okay?
Africa. Although it may not be cosmetically obvious, both of their platforms stand firmly on the denial of equal protection, recognition, or rights under U.S. law on U.S. soil. The ethical disparities within their philosophies are even more complex.
Ridiculous.
If Washington's goals would have been met, there ideally would have been a peaceful coexistence between the races. However, so-called blacks would voluntarily eliminate themselves from any hopes of social advancement in the predominant society.
That is very key. If the people had gone on and followed Booker T. Washington's thing, then basically what Booker T. Washington was saying, or what his plan would have gotten us, we would have been able to exist, but that's it. No advancement, no laws, no nothing. But we alive. We's alive. That's all we got. Sergeant King said, which one had a clear wife? I know Frederick Douglass had a clear wife.
If Garvey's plan had been met, ideally, there would have been a new nation of some type formed from the population of transferred indigenous Americans into Africa. But this plan built upon the idea of forfeiting one's status in America and subsequently forfeiting any significant material possessions as well, possession of note being land. It's important to note, Black people owned property in the 19th, 18th, 17th, 16th, 15th, 14th, 13th, and also 20th centuries, contrary to popular history.
You heard that? Black people own land in the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th centuries. If I know, especially in the 1800s, early 1900s, that my grandmama or my mama is indigenous to this land, what the hell I look like going back to Africa, Marcus Garvey? And then also Booker T, if I know that we owned everything and all of a sudden these folk came and take us, and you coming to me to tell me that now I'm supposed to just exist and beg them not to unalive me, you have lost your rabbit. We owned land. We've always owned land. And this is one of the reasons why after so-called slavery, a lot of Black people, so-called Black people, still own land, because we never not owned it. Look at this says. By 1910, records showed that more Black Americans owned land than ever before in the history of the United States. By 1910, records showed that more Black Americans owned land than ever before in the history of the United States. Over 14 million acres of land were owned by approximately 210,000 Black persons. Do you understand what that means? Over 14 million acres of land was owned by only 210,000 people, Black people, leading some historians to refer to this time period as the height of Black land ownership. Since then, however, Black land ownership has been on a steady decline. In a bid to address this worsening issue, Congress came up with the, I can't see it. The Farmers Home Administration, which was intended to extend credit to small income farmers, particularly Black Americans. With the establishment of political rights for all Black Americans, right to the land in the southern states began improving. Let me say this. Y'all remember when Candace Owens had that back and forth with T.I. on that State of the Union, I don't know, whatever little thing they was doing on stage. And when T.I. got the audience all riled up, he said, Trump trying to make America great again. When has America been great for Black people? What time, what place? And he wouldn't let her answer. The reason he wouldn't let her answer is because she knew that in a time, especially in the early 1900s, we were economically doing amazing economically. We were doing amazing economically. We wasn't economically dependent on nobody. That's why they got the KKK to come in with the hood and do your Black Wall Street, do the doggone Lake Lanier, all these Black towns, because we were doing better than them. But the history books, the school books teaches us that, oh, you were all slaves. You were nothing else but slaves. That's it. Life was horrible for you. You had nothing, you owned nothing, because right now we have nothing and we own nothing. So it's easy to conceive. But the fact of the matter is there was a point in time where Black people were doing amazing. That's the reason why you had your Rosewood happen. That's the reason why you had all these other outcries and uproars, because we were doing way better than them. Not no more though. We are 100% dependent on the government, period. Shout out to Martin Luther King. Now, he came back and said he was sorry later, so I got to give him that. But still, if it were not for him and his movement, along with the NAACP, we would not be here where we are today. Yes, Tulsa, all of that. Let that be, understand that part.
There are obvious logistical problems with either of these proposed solutions. On one hand, Garvey's plan offered national autonomy and a possible chance for a version of freedom or independence. But in Africa, as spectacular as this idea may be, the implementation of such a proposition requires an unfathomable amount of cooperation between various parties of different and often opposing interests. But on the other hand, the required logistics to install Booker T. Washington's plan were far more achievable. Where his platform would have been more successful in rallying opponents to civil rights, his plan did nothing to improve the state of inequality for so-called Black people. To call Garvey's plan impossible would be a gross understatement.
Look at him. Look.
Wealthier and more powerful men.
That's the eugenics nigga behind him right there. You caught that? Hey, the clear man who funded a lot of Marcus Garvey. Look, with his graduation robe on. That's the eugenics man right there. We talked about him on the last Educational Friday. That's him right there. What is he doing with Marcus Garvey? And Marcus Garvey really was for us. Y'all better pay attention. That's the man right there who believed in eugenics. Go back to the last Educational Friday. We talked about him. That's him right there. Walter Plecker. That's him right there. What he doing with Marcus Garvey? It's rhetorical.
And that Garvey had tried the very same thing and had failed. The American Colonization Society set up 2 countries in Africa founded on this specific premise, with little success of getting indigenous Americans to recreate themselves as immigrants in Africa. As compelling as both of these plans may be, these solutions were only half viable in improving the conditions for life here in America. Therein lies the Hegelian deception. Both of these ideas were introduced and served counterproductive intentions.
So look, let's read this. If we had followed, oh snap. If we had followed
for life here in America.
If we had followed Booker T. Washington's plan, right? Let's go get it. If we had followed Booker T. Washington's plan, this is what we would have forfeited. Hold on.
For life here in America.
If you can see it up at the top. Let me open this up so you can see it better. Hold on. If we had followed their plan, right? Here are the pros. Opportunity for employment for Booker T. We would have got jobs. We would have got trained in skills and agriculture, and we would have allegedly not been, met with violence. But the cons of this is we're second-class citizenship, no equality, and no social mobility, meaning you just going to stay broke, poor, disgusted, and in the corner. Now, the pros of Marcus Garvey is national identity, because we go to Africa and find us a nation. Sovereignty, escape white supremacy, and independence. The cons is you leave your homeland, you forfeit your status, forfeit your land, unproven regime. So we don't know what we're going to when we get there. Ambiguous African ties. We still don't know how we tie to these folks. Limited resources, because how we going to live. And then also no government experiments or no governing experiences. So how we going to create a society when we ain't never had none? We don't even know how we going to get supplies, food, shelter. This shit don't make no sense. Both of these were bad. Whether we stayed or gone, it was bad. Hmm. Hmm. Booker T, is that you? What you doing with them clear, man? What you doing with them clear people, Booker T? I thought you was for the advancement of the so-called Negro. Y'all better be strong. Stop acting like these people really is for you. They not for you. They are plants, in my opinion. They're plants because there's no reason you're gonna tell me Booker T's rubbing shoulders with this clear man. Plants. Look, he the only nigga in the sandwich. Hmm. Hmm. Ridiculous. Let's move on. Hold on. We got to get to W.E.B. Listen, like I told y'all, W.E.B, he's going to come in with another plan, right? Mind you, we are being told that these people are our people. We already found out Marcus Garvey is a transplant and W.E.B is a transplant too. Yet they are put under or put down through so-called history as African Americans. Well, not necessarily Marcus Garvey, but for sure W.E.B. We just read and seen he ain't got a lick of nigger blood in him. The daddy come from Bahamian slaves, the mom come from Dutch slave owners. He don't have a lick of nigger in him. But this is the so-called first African American to get a doctorate degree. How, Sway? How, Sway? Use your things. Use your thoughts. Really quickly, I want to go back. Let me make this clear too. Y'all have to understand, just like these rap beefs, this should be orchestrated. The W.E.B. Dubois versus Marcus Garvey, I believe in my heart of hearts that shit was orchestrated. Like, hey, I need y'all to go back and forth with each other. Y'all can say any type of anti, whatever you want. Just go back and forth with each other to make the people believe you for your side and you for your side. It's all cap. It says this is Marcus Garvey. During his visit, Dubois received a friendly welcome letter from Garvey, and they met in person. During their meeting, Garvey told Dubois about his Back to Africa movement and his hope to get his support. A year later, Garvey came to the U.S. for a speaking tour, invited Dubois to his first lecture. Dubois declined the invitation, wrote Eva Kiss in 2001 seminar paper, The Conflict Between Marcus Garvey and W.E.B. Du Bois. So Du Bois met up with Marcus. Marcus was like, yo, we should go back to Africa, whoop de whoop. And Du Bois was like, all right, cool, bet, bro, whatever. Then he invited him to his first lecture. Marcus Garvey invited Du Bois to his first lecture, and Du Bois said he ain't coming. He ain't coming. But the boy, you a fake ass nigga. Because why you ain't tell that to Marcus Garvey when you was in front of that man's face? Girl, fake. Hmm. Is this playing on your side? Hold on. I don't think it's playing on your side. Hold on. Stand by, because it looked like it's not playing. What? How? Sway, hold on. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong. Did I? Oh, I see. I see. My bad, y'all. When I opened it in YouTube, I should have shared it over here. My bad. My bad. Let's go back. Let's go back. It's only a little bit y'all missed. Hold on. Let's go back. I forgot I opened it in the app.
Dubois had dubbed Garvey on multiple occasions prior to his rise in popularity. Garvey had reached out cordially, but failed to capture the camaraderie he was seeking from the Bois. Although the men were in public disagreement, Booker T. Washington and Dubois were on friendly terms throughout their careers in the spotlight. Most of the supposed contention transpired amid their enthusiasts. Naturally, their associations among the Negro and white aristocracy occasioned their circles to overlap in personal interest. On the other hand, after 1915, UNIA supporters were overlapping with the NAACP supporters, essentially threatening the reach of Dubois within the community. And as contradictory as the platforms of Garvey and Washington were, their installed opponent Willie's platform was literally born in the halls of Hegelianism. Long before Little Willie became Black Vladdy, he studied under some of the most distinguished socialists in Europe during his time in Germany training at the University of Berlin. According to David Tight-Lipped Lewis, he intellectually came of age while studying with some of the nation's most prominent social scientists. It just so happens Willie spent his early academic career at the University of Berlin, the same institution George Wilhelm Hegel established himself and spent the greater part of his academic career.
Did y'all catch that? So I told y'all earlier, W.E.B. went to the University of Berlin over in Germany, but this is the same school the dude Hegel created with his Hegelianism, which is basically the concept that life is following concepts and all that. Conceptualism, I'm sorry. So technically, W.E.B. studied right under the clear man who had the whole thing of separating these people and making them realize or keeping them confused. It's crazy. Again, these are our heroes. He coincidentally, y'all know I don't believe in coincidences. He went to Hegel school, but Hegel don't mess with niggas. Mind you, W.E.B. ain't no nigga. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Remember that. He ain't nigga, but they're gonna make him be nigga because they told us that everybody who look like this is the same. You get it? That's why we have to establish an identity.
In addition to Karl Marx, Willie would later earn his degree from Harvard in 1895, but 3 years prior to being the first so-called Black American to graduate Harvard with a PhD, he had been groomed by the likes of Heinrich von Treitschke, Adolf Wagner, Gustav von Schmuller, and Max Weber at the European Harvard of Communism, the University of Berlin. From Harvard, Willie began teaching Greek and Latin at Wilberforce University in Ohio. Or he was possibly sowing the seeds of socialism to an impressionable student body. Never mind, he didn't do that, I'm sure. Wilberforce University is one of the oldest operated historically black institutions in America. Naturally, it was founded by British abolitionists. Following his stint at Wilberforce, Willie took another position at Atlanta University as a professor of economics and history. While at present-day Clark, he published the Philadelphia Negro, a study describing the social conditions of so-called blacks in Philadelphia. Also over that period in the late 80s.
Really quickly, W.E.B. was raised around predominantly clear people by a clear mama and her family. What the hell he know about the Philadelphia Negro? This is why I keep telling y'all, they putting these people in front of you. And these are not the people who you think they are. And they're going to rewrite history to make it seem like these people were amazing. He don't know a goddamn thing about the Philadelphia Negro. Not one thing. Yet he writing a book about it. And because we blinded by so-called education, oh, he got a degree, we're going to believe his word because he's a so-called professor. That's crazy to me. If you were to Google search, like, look, let me show you this. If you were to Google search W.E.B. right now, look, I just put in W.E.B. Dubois, right? And you scroll down the headlines on Google about him, it's going to be all positive. They got his biography, education, Wikipedia got their little 1, 2, yin, 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 his beliefs, the Niagara movement, the NAACP, all types of stuff. All positive. They make him positive because they need you to believe that he was a positive person, because they, at the end of the day, he was pushing the narrative of other people, which were clear. You seen all the clear people he came up from under. Look, W.E.B. Du Bois, the Hutchins Center for African. What W.E.B. know about the African? He studied in Berlin. He studied in Germany. He didn't even go over to Africa. The Negro studied in Germany. How you gonna write about Africa? Again, question everything you are taught. Everything. Question it all, because most of it is a bunch of cap. Period.
1800s, he contended with other leaders who were promoting integration, while at the same time propagating Pan-Africanism in publications of Atlantic Monthly, encouraging blacks to embrace their African heritage.
Embrace your African heritage, y'all. W.E.B.
Dubois was introducing his own platform of integration, but an even different version than had been previously conceived during the Reconstruction era. W.E.B. Du Bois' time at the NAACP could best be described as a Hegelian contradiction. This organization on its face was supposedly an organization run by so-called African Americans, but in reality, it was an organization funded by white socialists, abolitionists, and Jews.
The Jews. Hey, you see that? The Jews was funding it, as they have funded many things in the past. It was a so-called movement for so-called advancement of color people, but ain't no color person was advanced, and it was funded by the Jews and a whole bunch of other folk. Now he pushing a Pan-African movement. What he know about a Pan-African movement? The NAACP was the single most, if not one of the single most horrible things that we could have ever dealt with as Black Americans. I wish I could go back and turn back the hands of time and get a bullhorn and get over these niggas in the regular neighborhood. Because see, these some bourgeoisie niggas here. See what you see in this photo? These some bourgeoisie niggas. That's the ones in the background I got on my background. They don't count. They probably one of them talented tent type of niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the regular, everyday Joe Schmo nigga. They needed a real bitch like me to come back and say, no, them people playing in y'all face. And I'm pretty sure they had some people back then who were doing that, but their voice was not loud enough to drown out the so-called NAACP. Girl.
William Walling was a socialist politician who was descended from French Huguenots, same as Dubois. Archibald Grimke, the son of a Southern slaveholder. German-born Jewish nurse,
Y'all see that
Lillian
connection?
Wall. German-born propagandist, Oswald Villard.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they weren't related to W.E.B. Because you got to understand, too, it would not surprise me if they were related. Remind you, he's a half and half. It would not surprise me if he was not related to these folk. We seen Barry Gordon was related to the president, what's the one name in Georgia? It would not surprise me if he was related to them. It would not. Jimmy Carter. It would not surprise me if he was related to them. Barry Gordon related to Jimmy Carter. That's his second cousin. Now you got W.E.B. up here with all these clear folk. What he doing with the clears? Ask yourself that. What is he doing with all them clears? And why they pick this nigga? Why they like this nigga more than the other ones? Rhetorical.
Socialist feminist Mary Ovington and Romanian-born Jewish politician Henry Moskowitz were all founding members of the National Association.
Look at your girl. Y'all know who it is at the bottom, right before we get to her. Y'all know who this puffy head heifer is here. Who know who that is? Put it in the chat. Who's this puffy head heifer here? Because we gonna get on her too. She coming up. She definitely in the series. Everybody you thought was who you thought they was, they are not. No, that ain't Madam C.J. Walker. Who this Ida B? There go Meek. Ida B. Ida. That's who that is. Yes, ma'am. Nigga said Etta James. I cannot. Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells. That's Ida. That's Auntie Ida. Remember, I told y'all, they don't always have to be transplants or half and half. Sometimes it's you. Okay? Ridiculous.
Although they themselves have very minimal color. The Hegelian paradoxical principle is intrinsic in not only the operation of the NAACP, but the dialogue surrounding integration as well. Even the supposed critical thought presented in editorials written by Dubois, final clearance on any literature composed by him was under the command of a mostly white Jewish face. The general public consensus about the organization was in reality a farce. The NAACP was never created by colored people for the advancement of colored people. It was a fallacious hustle perpetuated by underhanded so-called white liberals.
You get it?
For this very reason is why Dubois eventually had a falling out with upper white management and left the organization, or was rather pushed out. After revealing the roles of Jewish plantation owners in the South during slavery in one of his editorials. Quote, "The Jew is the heir of the slave baron in Daughtry County, for blacks all over the South fell victim to a system of debt peonage called sharecropping, which Southern so-called Jews set up and used to their advantage to make the blacks the poorest of the poor, while at the same time making a class of Jewish cotton merchants the richest of the rich. These Jews used this economic blueprint to obtain wealth to and for themselves, while they led black people to a strategy of non-economic liberalism."
Don't they do that with the music industry today? Don't in the music industry today, there's a small group of folk who own everything, and the niggas don't own nothing. They give them a couple of dollars, even in the, not just the music industry, highly weird altogether. Ain't they doing this? See, they did it back then with the land. Now they doing it with our intellectual property. They make so much money off of us. They put life insurance policies on us. So when they promote or have us promote the unaliving of each other, they make money hand over fist on who gonna unalive who. But if you were to say that about this group of people and put their name on it, then you anti-woo-de-woo. But the truth is not to be told because they don't want nobody to know that. Because they say, allegedly, they say they're in fear of something repeating itself. But my thing is given, I want to do what I want to do, but you can't call me on it. And I'm going to use this as a crutch as to why you can't call me on it. But these are the people who funded the NAACP. The National Association for the Advancement of Color People. It's all a facade. These people, I hope y'all are tracking this. I just hope y'all are tracking this.
End quote. In the days since the life of W.E.B. Dubois, these quotes have been edited out of some of his writings.
Oh, yeah. Look, they took them out. See the way he mentioned it? Oh, they took him out now. Especially with the power of the internet. Oh, girl, they done rewrote that 4 or 5 times and re-put it out, girl. They done rewrote this 5, 6, 7 times and look, he putting the person here, the person there. Oh, they hurry up, took that out. Because how dare you know that that's what he meant? Now, see, you never bite the hand that feeds you, W.E.B, because they on your ass now. But we gonna get there.
For Du Bois' role in the dialogue of upward mobility, his idea that the talented 10th, as he called them, should be appointed as emissaries of the Manifesto for Black Advancement can best describe his platform.
Boulay.
The fundamental conundrum held within his philosophy cultivated class division among blacks, where the top 10% of Negro men were endowed leadership roles.
Alpha Phi Alpha, first D9 organization. Yep.
The inherent problem with this proposal lied in the standard of man whom Du Bois deemed worthy of consideration. His ideology called for men of elite education, something the average black person had zero access to.
So, really quickly, this is what W.E.B. proposed, right? This is what W.E.B. proposed. Okay. Basically, all of us ain't gonna be able to go. So I need to separate the niggas, the most educated, indoctrinated, but educated and successful ones. Y'all come over here. I know it's a small group of y'all, but y'all come over here. We're gonna make you guys better than the regular Negro, the middle class or the lower class Negro, and we're gonna use you to basically govern them. But in order for you to be successful, you keep them down. So he established this whole hierarchy thing amongst the Negroes. Right? It says W.E.B. Du Bois integration. It has civil rights, equality, elite education, and cooperation with the liberals. W.E.B. Du Bois, even through the NAACP, even through the D9, even through the Boulay, all of these, he had no intention on the greater good of the average black person. It was a whole bunch of classism. Yes, thank you, Jasmine Bishop. You called it. You were saying, you wrote it right as I was saying it. He was promoting slavery through classism. That's it. And listen, if you are a black person and you're out trying to survive, you're going to want to strive to be in that small percentage versus the big wide majority. I don't want to be poor, worry about the KKK. I want to live good, so shit, I'm going to try to strive so me and my family could eat. And that's basically what W.E.B. Du Bois was proposing. Guess who else was Alpha Phi Alpha? Put it in the chat, y'all. We talked about it on this channel. Who been paying attention to the Educational Friday? Who was the major leader of the so-called Negroes that was the Alpha Phi Alpha? Let me see who gonna get it. Who been paying attention? There go. Meek, you on it, ain't it? Mike. Yes, girl, Mike. Yes. All y'all be paying attention. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all are on it. I love it. Now I know that you guys are paying attention. Now, most people say, well, it's just a coincidence. Mike just so happened to pledge Alpha Phi Alpha. Woody woody woo. Okay, fat. All right. Girl. What's the coincidence? Again, this is an exclusive club. You can't just walk off the street and get in. You, me, we can't just walk off the street and get in. You got to know somebody. Girl. Mike sure was an Alpha Phi Alpha. And we all know that's what W.E.B. Dubois promoted and created, because he said we need to have a system of niggas who's better than the other niggas. So we need y'all to be on top and keep them niggas, to keep your foot on their neck and keep them down at the bottom. Somebody said, I'm sorry, who is Mike? Martin Luther the King. That's what we call him over here at the dollhouse. Well, we ain't at the dollhouse, but that's what we call him. Martin Luther the King. Martin Luther King, Martin Luther the King, yeah, him. He was Alpha Phi Alpha. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Sure was. Yep. Could be a coincidence. I don't know.
This caused the public to view his platform as elitist.
Very elitist.
And something else that further divided blacks into contentious factions. The separation of ideologies in many ways can be attributed to the way of life each man lived during their progressing years. Booker T. Washington was born into slavery and lived the majority of his life in the South.
You know what? Booker T wouldn't be on that elitist team, in my opinion. He would give me more Freemasonry. Remember, you got to understand, the Freemason people, those were the people who were regular niggas, but they were in this so-called secret society. Whereas the Boule and all those people, these were your top bourgeoisie, high-class Negro. You know what I'm saying? Typically lighter skin, typically racially ambiguous. Booker T had too much nappy hair to be on the Boule side. So I'm giving he was Freemason. You know what I'm saying? Because see, they took the working class nigga. The Boule and the elite, those were the top. You had to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees. You know what I mean? Type of time. Yeah, pass the paper bag test. Yes, Jasmine. You had to pass the paper bag test.
Whereas Dubois had very little experience living in the South prior to his ascension at Atlanta University. And no.
Ooh, that's a good one, Jasmine. You on it today. Jasmine, you better speak. Shut your mouth and keep on talking. Wasn't we just talking about that this morning? Those was the Drakes. And the Kendrick Lamar would be the Freemason. He would be the Booker T. Ooh, you get it? Because Kendrick Lamar don't get no pass. He had to do some things to get where he at. You right, Jasmine, you are on it today. Do you hear me? Jasmine, you on one. I'm here for it. Yes, that's your Drakes. No tie to the land, because Drake is Canadian. He had one alleged Negro parent, and he ain't even of the culture, yet he is representation for the culture. Nigga, that is textbook Drake. That is textbook Drake. Just like W.E.B. He don't have no ties to the land. The nigga was Bahamian, born in Haiti. I keep telling you, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything you did has already been done. Drake is Canadian, no ties to this land because he was born in Canada, raised by the clear people, his mama side, the juice, right? Now, he's the representation right now for Black hip-hop. Now, move in the past, W.E.B. was a Bahamian. He was born from a Bahamian dad, that's not a color, but we gonna go with that. A Bahamian dad in Haiti with a clear mama. The clear mama raised him, and he gonna be the first African American to graduate with a doctorate degree. Girl, please. Everything you do has already been done. Are you tracking? Are you tracking? And this the gag, Jasmine. We don't even know if W.E.B might be in the juice. You know why? Because why is he so well connected with all them clears? It wouldn't surprise me. They say the Mon was Dutch slave owner type teas. It wouldn't surprise me if he one of the juices too. Yes, Sarah, Obama type. Yes, ma'am. Obama type teas. You never know because they very scarce on the details around W.E.B. See, they ain't want to tell you he was born to a white mama and maybe a Negro daddy. And even then, the Negro daddy wouldn't have been Negro because he was Bahamian. Y'all get it? Girl, this is a time. This is a time. This is a time. He is the Drake of today. You are absolutely right. He is absolutely the Drake of today.
No experience with slavery firsthand. Dubois lacked the true American experience of the Southern plight, so his pushes for equality and civil rights were seen as combative. Conversely, Washington's plan for compromise was seen as submissive, especially to blacks north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Booker T.
Furthermore, Garvey's platform years later didn't resemble either one, and ultimately, his lack of a true American experience never gave him a real chance to earn majority support from the Southern constituency. His values were not aligned with Indigenous Americans, especially concerning extradition to Africa. And although Dubois was a staunch Pan-African leftist and initially supported the Black Star Line, he scoffed at the idea of African Americans ruling a nation in Africa and blasted Garvey as a most dangerous enemy of the Negroes. The prospect of collaboration never legitimately entered the discussion as far as Dubois was concerned. Although Garvey made early pitches for partnership, Dubois was ultimately unreceptive to the man whose rise in popularity threatened the very growth of the NAACP, as the UNIA began infringing on the woke black market. The lines were drawn with the base.
Now you got a three-way battle. You seen his nose, huh, T. Roberts? You seen, I ain't like the way his nose had a hump at the top. I'm with you, T. Roberts. I ain't like that part. I ain't like that part. I ain't like that hump on the nose. That was a clear giveaway. He ain't nigga. Oh, how many niggas you know with humps on top they nose? Okay? But yeah, that's what we dealing with. That's what we dealing with. Now we got a three-way fight. Booker T saying, y'all, to the niggas who look like me, I'm a nappy head bastard. Please, let's just, oh yeah, that is a juice nose, B-Dub. Yes, it is. Yes, it is a juice nose. Oh yes, that's a juice nose. Girl. Okay. But look, we got a three-way battle. Now the niggas, the so-called Negroes is going at it, right? You got W.E.B. battling Marcus Garvey because he don't like the nigga, don't want nothing to do with the nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Booker T telling all the other niggas to just be docile and stay and hope that the clear man don't come over in his hoods and his horses. Three-way battle. All three of these niggas is beefing. Let's be clear. Just like the rap beef, it's orchestrated and placed just like that. And the reason being is because they need to keep you divided. So Marcus Garvey's followers gonna go with him. They're gonna go with the move with him. W.E.B. followers gonna go with the move with him. Booker T gonna go with the move with him. And because we so focused on being divided, we don't understand that they're confusing us and getting us even more off our rocker. Does that make sense? Right, T. Roberts? T. Roberts said, and ain't nobody from Acorn. Ain't nobody from Acorn. This the one. This the one. You better, Jasmine. Jasmine, girl. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything you did has already been done. And the gag is none of these niggas is from Acorn, okay? None of these niggas is from Acorn. Let's cue up the little thing.
He ain't even from Acorn.
You get it? You get it? You see that? You got W.E.B. versus Marcus Garvey versus Booker T. Now let's put this in perspective in the rap beef we talking about. Who y'all think will be Kendrick? I think Kendrick will be Booker T. Put a 1 in the chat if Kendrick Lamar is Booker T. I think Kendrick is Booker T. I think Drake is W.E.B. And I think what's the other one? Booker T. Oh, Marcus Garvey is J. Cole. The big three. Don't they have the big three in basketball? Remember they had LeBron, D-Wade, and who was the third person? Tall, skinny nigga who got sick. You see what I'm saying? What's his name, babe?
Josh.
No, not Josh. Tall, skinny nigga. I know who it is. But they always have a big three. They Bosch. Thank you, Chris Bosch. That's who it was. Chris Bosch. That was the big three. Even with Jordan, it was Jordan, Rodman, Pippen. You get it? The big three. Here we go with the same big three. You get it? All this shit is orchestrated. See, people think because it's sports, it's not orchestrated. All of this is orchestrated.
These Bolsheviks started dropping public insults toward Bumbleclad All-Stars.
Just give me rap.
Call me uppercut. Nowhere in between could a genuine supporter of either movement find themselves. And the contrast at this point had become dramatic. Either stay in America and demand equal citizenship from whites, which will in turn agitate Southern whites into violence, or take your ass to Africa on a ship destined for the Bermuda graveyard. Only one of these choices is even close to realistic, and no other alternatives of note to be considered. This one-size-fits-all approach to American progress is the very foundation Hegelianism was built upon. These ideas introduced by Dubois and Garvey did not naturally transpire within indigenous Black communities in America. Instead, they were blueprints introduced by those foreign to the soil they hoped to represent. Dubois, though American-born, was of Anglo-Dutch Huguenot ancestry, whose family immigrated from the Caribbean and Europe. Meaning Dubois...
He ain't even American-born. He was born in Haiti. He ain't even from Acorn. Just to put that part in there.
They had no legitimate Black family history.
None.
On the continent.
When he raised around there.
This characteristic was of most importance because non-American Blacks were needed to endorse Pan-Africanism among American Blacks. These contradictory movements were designed to transform the perspective of historical psyche from native to foreigner. A twisted swindle of irony indeed. Employ foreigners who present themselves as educated militants to propagate a counterfeit historical identity for the purposes of a secret dual agenda. As the people funnel themselves into their chosen sheep shoots, whether Team Vladdy or Team Bumbleclad, they have unconsciously ascribed themselves to an African identity. This was the secret dual agenda.
You get it? Wait, that might have went over a couple of people's head. What he's saying was they got them out on the forefront beefed out. So if you was Team the Boys, you fucked with your partner. If you was Team Garvey, you messed with him. But the secret agenda is to keep you niggas and get you niggas to say that you African. Whole time ain't a nigga here at the time, and probably most of us not today ain't even from no goddamn Africa. You get what I'm saying? The secret agenda was to get your mind to Africa so they can take the land right from under your neck. Ain't that crazy?
with popularity set upon these specific men, American blacks would seek the education that would further alienate them from their true history for tokens of white approval.
Mm-hmm. Hey, see that what that American looked like back then? Y'all see what that American looked like back then? Let me see. Do I have? I've showed y'all some photos of the so-called Americans. I found the emblem of America. Hold on. I'm about to show y'all a whole bunch of shit naive. You feel me? Remember, we so-called from Africa. I got that one right here. We so-called from Africa. Let me fuck your head up. Hold on, right quick. Hold on. These people were put into play to confuse you through their agendas, who had secret hidden agendas along with them to get you confused, to get your mind, not the adults, because they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, to get your minds off of the fact that you are indigenous to this land. The secret agenda, as we've already heard, was to keep you in a position where you feel like you are an African, not an American, so that they can take the land from you. Because if you believe that you're an African, then you're going to try to go to the Americas, to Africa for your freedom or for your source. But the fact of the matter is, you are not African. But these people are put in place. Marcus Garvey, W.E.B, and even the other cat, they are put in place to keep you confused. Okay? Now you believe you're from Africa. When the whole fact of the matter is, if you do the research, they will show you that the people of the land that they were claiming that you were from did not come from Africa. Look at this. Take a look at this. Let me make this bigger. These are the so-called Indians. Those are copper-colored melanated people, not the so-called Native American you see nowadays. There's more. Look. This is the depiction that the clear people had of you before they came over here and went all Christopher Columbus on your ass. Look. Be mindful and be prideful of where you are from. I'm talking about in America. I'm a proud New Orleanian. I was born in New Orleans. My heritage comes from Mississippi, and quiet as it's kept because my family is Suma tribe, probably somewhere down up in Texas and Mexico. Proud of that. You don't have to be no Nigerian or no none of this all that ugly ass shit. Look at what they depicted you as when they come here. Look, these look like the so-called Native Americans. Not to me. Not to me. Look at this. But you supposed to be from Africa. You're supposed to be African. Look. Stop with the cap. Stop with the cap. Yes, Kavon, they whitewashed everything. I've shown y'all how they whitewashed everything. I've shown y'all. Let me see if I still have it. They literally, I've shown it to y'all in front of your eyes. Hold on. They've literally whitewashed everything. Let me show you. Let me show you how they whitewashed everything. This was the original picture that was painted as far as what they saw when they came down to Africa. You see this? Are you tracking this? This is what they say the people looked like when they were spying on America. This is what they said. I didn't say it. This is the clear people who were spying. This is what they said you looked it like. Then they flipped it around. And turned it into this. Do you understand what I am saying? Same picture, different hue of people. They whitewash everything. to keep you confused. And they keep people like Dr. Umar hollering, I'm the Prince of Pan-Africanism, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, and repeating shit 3 times. Shout out to the number 3. To keep you confused. And they put these so-called Native Americans in place of you so that you won't think to look there. You get it? Y'all got to be tracking this.
Kami uppercut. Pan-African ploys to set brown eyes upon Africa had been well instituted at least a century before Dubois and Garvey were even on the scene. But these schemes were in vain. Liberia and Sierra Leone never saw the influx the abolitionists and slave traders intended. Perhaps the Africa scheme's greatest opponent was also considered the greatest Black American in history, Frederick Douglass. Quote, there is no sentiment more universally entertained, no more firmly held by the free people of the United States than that this is their own, their native land, and that here their destiny is to be wrought out, identified with the entire history of the American people, going back more than 200 years. This sentiment is natural and praiseworthy. There is not now, there has never been, and we think there will never be any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all, the wilds of Africa.
Let me say this. So now Frederick Douglass enters the chat, right? He don't believe in this whole colonization BS. He not here for the bull, right? Frederick Douglass at least had the gumption and the gall to say, no, what you mean back to Africa? Nigga, we indigenous of this land. We own land here. We ain't from no Africa, so no, I ain't gonna tell the people go back to Africa. However, you have to be mindful. Frederick Douglass was married to a clear woman. Frederick Douglass sponsored and was one of the first people to head or help head the feminism movement, which has completely tore us down. His hands ain't clean either. But in this specific situation, I'll say, okay, Fred, I got you. But again, y'all wonder why I don't like celebrities and I don't like these people? Because they all a bunch of bull. All of them.
End quote. It is clear by this quote that even the philosophy of integration had become repackaged from the time of Frederick Douglass to the time of W.E.B. Dubois. A cardinal theme in Hegelian philosophy is the slogan, contradictions push history forward. From the earlier experiences of Frederick Douglass during his life of activism, contradictions were built within the central issue at the crux of his platform. Douglass, similar to Washington, was born into slavery and also was of supposedly mixed race, whose father was white. And just like Washington, the truth about his father is unknown, as most information regarding their fathers are hearsay. In comparison, both of these men's road to emancipation took 2 different routes. Douglass being born a couple of generations before Washington meant his experience within slavery was far more antagonistic. Washington was emancipated as a child after the proclamation in 1865. Conversely, Douglass allegedly emancipated himself.
Now look, we gonna pause here. we gonna pause here. I still gotta bring back my segment of we were here first, right? And the reason being is because Black people populated the earth, not just Africa, the earth, thousands of years before these clear people were even created, let alone they came in and did us dirty. You know what I'm saying? Mila said at Voodoo, who sold us up the river? Our own people, with a bunch of transplants in half and half, but technically our own people. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We sold ourselves out. That's why when you get into it with a clear racist, what's the first thing they say? You guys sold yourselves into slavery. Because guess what? The Europeans were Black. Now, if you tell a clear Italian and a clear Mexican that they the same, they're going to want to battle you. But only the Blacks are told that everybody with melanin is the same. And not all the Blacks, just the Black Americans. We sold ourselves up the road. Okay? That's how that went. I want to show you something. So remember I told y'all about the Black Mexicans. I got to bring back my We Were Here First series because we actually were here first. And it's very imperative that we know that. I want to share something else with y'all. And we're going to do a part 2 on, what's the nigga name? W.E.B. next week. Okay? And I got to do this more than just Fridays, y'all. I think we need an educational Monday and or Tuesday or something. We got to do this more than Friday. Because I just feel like the whole week just be too long. You know what I'm saying? Hey, George Richard. So let's get into the Black Mexicans, the original Indians or indigenous people of Mexico. Before I do that, I want to show y'all something else. Look. See, this is stuff they don't show y'all. See, when y'all go to Mexico, we go to we go down to we go down to a whole bunch of places, you know, and visit and have a gay old time. You know what I'm saying? But we don't go to the stuff that matters. Now, this here, let me share it on YouTube. Hold on. Let me share it on YouTube. Hold on, it's a ad.
So I decided to come to Holland's.
This here channel is called Ace. I like Ace. I like what he does. He's an amazing dude. What he does is he goes around to different places where indigenous people who are Black were there. Watch the artifacts he finds in so-called Mexico. Negro artifacts. Look.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Santiago de Tuxtla. Sorry if I said the name wrong, but it's a small town on the, I guess, around.
Yes, the Aztecs, the Mayans, all of them people were Black. All of them people were Black. The Aztecs, the Mayans, all them people were Black. Thank you, Candy Lou, for becoming a member. You know what, too, honey? I might incorporate it in some of my morning joses because I kind of touch on educational stuff, but I might make one of my morning joses an educational video too because we got to get on this stuff because a week ain't enough. A week ain't enough. It's just not. So look, shout out to Ace. The channel is on YouTube. Y'all can go check him out. He goes to a lot of places where the indigenous people were melanated people, and he discovered artifacts. He talked to the people. I like the dude channel. He got some other stuff on there I don't really dig into, but when he goes on his trips, I am all here for it. But peep Ace.
I'm Veracruz, 2 hours away from Veracruz, but it has something very special, as you can see here. This is the largest so far Olmec head found in Mexico, the largest one, and yeah, it's huge. And they actually have something written here, and I'll read it for you guys. It says, "This is the largest of all the colossal Olmec heads found to date. Some specialists believe that it represents a dead person, and the reason why, and I'll paraphrase the rest, is because of the way the eyes are and the lips and the nose, everything. The eyes are closed. All the other Olmec heads, the eyes are open. There's more realism in the way it looks. It says it here, right here. It differs from the other heads in a number of ways. The stylish form of the headpiece, the closed eyes, and the form of the mouth, and all the features detract from the portrait-like qualities of the other Olmec heads. So basically, it's like someone sleeping or someone that's not here no more. And so, yeah, I just wanted to show you this. The reason why I came.
Now he's gonna go into a museum and he's gonna see a lot of artifacts. Mind you, this stuff is put off to the side. If y'all don't know about these places, because I didn't, you wouldn't know they exist. That's why they put the beaches and the road and the all the pretty stuff in front of you. Because they don't want you to go see that this stuff is thousands and thousands of years old. I just seen on Carimio channel that they found bones in California that was millions of years old. Because see, they believe that the so-called Native Americans crossed the Bering Strait and that's how they got here. Cap. We inherited the earth way before these folk got here.
And so let's check out this place. All right, we'll look at some of the pottery and do some exploring. All right, beautiful. I actually saw this in the other Olmec museum. These pieces right here. These exactly. Same type of style, everything. Check out that.
I want to show y'all this one.
But tell me what it looks like. Wow.
Look at these pieces.
That's huge. Right here. Nice piece. Okay. Permiso. ¿Por qué la gente dice negro? Why did we call it negro? This is the name of the piece is called negro.
Pues prácticamente por sus rasgos
features of a black person. He has full lips, prominent cheekbones, the shape of his hair.
Right. Wow. So basically he's saying because of its features, ¿y sabe cuánto tiempo, cuando la gente encontró eso?
They don't know when it was found. I know they know, but they don't want to tell us.
Sí, porque hay mucha información. So basically, what this is basically saying, why they...
You think them people don't know when this was found? Y'all be new age fools if you think them folk don't know when they founded this. They don't. If they put a timestamp on it, then it could either be debunked or it will prove that we were here long before them. That's why they said, "Oh, we don't know how long it's been here." And I'm not talking about the man at the museum. I'm just talking about period. They know exactly, Great T. They know.
Call it Negro. And it was found in the Tres Zapotes area. Basically, a lot of the Olmec stuff.
But if you look at the statue, that is the face of a black person. Look at the nose. Look how wide the nose is. Look at the ears. That is a black, so-called black person. They don't want to put a time frame on it. Because if they put one on it, it ain't the right one. Some archaeologist going to go and be like, nah, that's at least this amount of years old. But if they don't put one on there, they can leave it up to chance and for imagination. That's a black person. And these were the indigenous, so-called indigenous people of Mexico. Not the ones you see over there hollering, da-da-da-da-da-bumba. Not them niggas. They not indigenous to nothing. They are people, in my opinion, who came from Spain, Asia, and all these other folks to create this new group of people. They are not the indigenous people of the land.
Stuff was found there, but we have a Mexican saying it's called that because of its facial features.
Look,
all right.
This one.
We also Mexico.
Hold on, it's an ad. Watch this one that's about to come up. Crazy. Watch this one that's about to come up.
crazy, yo.
Look.
Look at that. Wow. This one gives you a clear image.
Look at that nose and them lips.
And for those who are like, oh, this one doesn't have, everything has a flat head. No, not every one of them has a flat head, okay? And this one actually has what appears to be feathers. Some people have come here and said they're like cornrows. Go figure if you feel that way, but there are depictions of how this looks in other statues with the same type of symbolism in the right here. But if it's cornrows, maybe comment down below if you think they're cornrows. Or
you want to know what they're trying to do by opening up the borders? Who just asked that? You want, in my opinion, Deborah, you know what they're trying to do by opening up the borders? See, the so-called clear who came and so-called founded America, they fading out. I know they lied and told us that we was 1/3 of the population or we was less than. No. They no longer exist. So when they open up the borders, that replaces the ones that's leaving up out of here. Yep. They need more clears here. That's why the clears who come here from all these other places, they get into it with the Negroes, and what they tell the Negroes, they come here for us. They here for us. We're not giving you nothing. They need to be replenished, in my opinion. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. But you see, we are indigenous to all of land, which means no matter how many people they pour in, we will always be the majority. I know they tell us we the minority, but we will always be the majority because we are the ones indigenous to the land. On average, even in 2024, we have between 4 and 6 kids per woman. They don't do that. They be averaging between 1 and 3. They don't do that. Even with us unaliving each other, even with us having all these issues and all these things going on, they still can't compete with our numbers. I know they tell us we're the minority, but they know different, which is why the borders is wide open. But I wanted to show y'all something else. So he goes to this barbecue, right? He goes to this picnic or this festival out in Mexico where he meets this black lady. And I don't know if it's her husband or her friend. They all from, she's from America, but they have Mexican ancestry, but black Mexican ancestry. Let's peep this. Hold on. I'm gonna let it load. Peep this, because a lot of us, especially from Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, a lot of us have black ancestry from indigenous Mexicans. Not this lady right here. I don't know who that is. Not these folk in the line. Them the new Mexicans. I'm talking about the indigenous Mexicans, okay?
Okay. All right. Nice to meet you. Hello. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hola. What are you doing? How you doing?
YouTube in the house.
What's going on? Hey, listen. Is this your first time here?
Yeah, I've been here for a few days, yeah.
Okay, are you guys Seminole?
I am.
Nice to meet you. How you hiding your face with the camera, girl? This is your first time here?
This is my first time as an adult. I used to come as a kid.
Oh,
He's Seminole, Florida. Is y'all on here, Florida? Seminole tribe in Mexico.
okay, cool.
Yeah, my mom, they're descendants of the Vasquez family. You'll see a lot of that around here.
I will have to have an interview with you later on after.
Yeah, you have to meet my cousin.
Okay.
She's our family genealogist.
Oh, really? Okay, she speaks English?
She speaks English.
Perfect. So what are they doing now? Like,
Right now they're having the comida, where you eat. They already had before you blow up too much.
yeah, what's so special about this community?
So one of the special things is that this is like one of the richest, or probably the richest black community in all of Mexico. If you go to Veracruz or Costa Chica, Guerrero, Oaxaca, a lot of the people there, they live in kind of like poverty. But here, a lot of the people, like all these pickup trucks you see, belongs to them. Like they have nice homes. They have
He looked like an Arab. I mean, no shade. You know what I mean? Am I the only one feeling like that? He just give me. I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to say it. He give me, this is what he giving me. Let's just let her say it.
He ain't even from Acorn.
You feel what I'm saying? Are y'all tracking what I'm talking about? Are y'all tracking what I'm saying? When I see him, even though he gonna spit some fire, it's giving,
He ain't even from Acorn.
But again, no shade to this man. No shade to this man. But we have to be able to identify who we are so we know who we ain't. Are you tracking? But he ain't even from Acorn.
The standard of living is pretty decent.
The black people here are the Seminoles, and the other indigenous group is the
Kickapoo.
And they were okay being friends together. They
came together.
Okay.
They came together to settle this area. Now the difference is the Kickapoos are an indigenous group that's acknowledged by the Americans, and they're getting their money from the casinos. If you go to Eagle Pass, Texas, if you see like the Native American reservations, that's where they get their money from. In Oklahoma and in Eagle Pass, Texas.
But they live here.
But they live here, and the children, they go back and forth.
Nice.
And a lot of the black people here, they work for them on their land, cultivating things. Or
what about the black Seminoles? Why can't they be recognized, or are they being recognized?
I think recently, I believe they were recognized, but they're not they don't have the same resources as money as the Kickapoos do.
Because of the reservations.
The reservations, the Mexican, the United States. This is not acknowledged by the United States. This is what I want to say to the people watching. The people watching, or anybody who has power or anything, the thing that I would say is...
Let me say this part. We already established he ain't from Acorn. Listen, Azure, that's the misconception. Azure says, they Mexican, none of them from Acorn. There's a lot of so-called indigenous Mexicans that are melanated that are Acorn. They from Acorn. See, and we got to do another live on that. Listen, a lot of the so-called Mexicans are so-called Mexicans after the powers that be came over here in their boats and started naming places. But these people freely went from so-called Mexico to Texas, Louisiana, Florida, all these people. You know what I mean? They actually, not all of them, not the La Bamba ass Mexicans. I'm talking about the indigenous Mexicans. Actually, they are from Acorn. It's crazy. I know. They from Acorn. Now, they might speak Spanish because the Spaniards came over there and whoop the wham. But they actually is from Acorn. The Seminoles, they in Florida, they in Texas, they in Mexico, they from Acorn. But we're going to do another deep dive on that one. Because remember, the land only was divided once the people came over here. Once Columbus and the other people came over here. Before that, this was all one Turtle Island. They actually, not the ones now, not the Jade and Alexis's of the world. But the other indigenous people, the Seminole people, they is from Acorn. Now, not this nigga. I don't know who he is. But they is from Acorn. It's crazy. And listen, because my lineage goes down to Texas. Let me get off of him. Let me let this lady talk. Because you ain't from Acorn. We don't really want to, you know what I mean? Is that bad? Because he ain't from Acorn. It's just hit different,
By force.
Oh, qué rico la comida. ¿Cómo estás, hermano? All right.
Let me introduce you to Kudos. Kudos
is the ad.
Black Seminole I've met in real life.
Oh, really?
Right. First person I knew, she told me that. I didn't really understand what she was talking about, but now I'm older. So how is that? Just knowing you're Seminole and you're Black.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's very beautiful. I think out of all my friends, I'm the only one that can trace my lineage all the way to slavery, post-slavery. I know my grandmother, my great-grandmother, the ones that were born here in Nacimiento, Piedras Negras. I know them all. and our families, they share the stories every, and then we used to come here as kids when you didn't need a passport.
Right.
A lot of the festivities take place in Bracketville, and also it just came up with growing up. People are always asking, well, what are you? What do you mean, what am I? Well, my mom is Mexican and Black Seminole Indian, and my dad is Negrito, he's Black. So I'm a Blaxican, I'm African American, whatever you want to call me. But it's beautiful. Our culture is so rich.
So tell me something about the culture.
I guess the biggest thing about our culture that's different than some others, we treat each other as family. You're a Black Seminole, I'm a Black Seminole, we're primos. We're cousins somewhere.
Regardless
of if we really are. I'm like, well, who's their mom? We're always trying to fact check.
Yeah.
But that's probably the most beautiful thing about our culture is that everyone treats you as family. They'll call you cousin, even though you may not be their cousin. Everyone is helpful, and they don't mind sharing their stories, and they're proud of their culture. They're not adopting no, we're just Mexicans, because they can.
Right.
And I mean, maybe do some fact checking, but it wasn't too long ago until Mexico recognized, oh yeah, we have Black Negros. Yeah. That was just like in recent years.
Yeah,
I guess when Black was in. And so now it's an in thing, but our people never said, no, I'm just straight Mexican. No, I'm Muskogee, I'm Seminole, I'm Black Seminole.
Well, it's amazing to say, like, I can call you and say you're Mexican. That's it. You know what I mean? If you're born here, you're Mexican. It doesn't matter what your color you are. But is there an importance to identify your heritage, or if not? Because I've come across some Mexicans that say, hey, we all Mexicans. You don't have to say the Black part.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that, honestly?
My thoughts on that, it might be some colorism within the races. I mean,
that's already something. No,
there's some
people don't like to talk about, like classism, colorism. In Mexico, the darker the skin, the less you're known to get paid.
Right.
In Mexico,
colorism only happens in the same culture. That is racism. That is the so-called clear Mexicans saying, oh no, you don't have to say Black Seminole, we all Seminole. That's because it benefits them to say that. That's the bottom line of it. Because they know good and well, them and the so-called Black Mexican ain't the same, which is why when you go to Mexico, I've been millions of times, and when you go to Mexico, you hard-pressed to find a Black Mexican. Talk about it. But it fits the agenda and the narrative at the time. So they say, oh, no, you don't have to say Black Seminole, you don't have to say Black Mexican. Let's just say Mexican, because we're all the same. No, we're not. You are the imposter, sir. These are the original indigenous people. Okay? But anyways, we're going to do part 2 sometime this week. I ain't going to wait till Friday. One of these mornings. You know what? I probably could do. I'm going to do it Monday morning. I could do it Monday morning because I'm not going to be up. Monday morning, we're going to do educational Mondays. Monday morning, we're going to get back on this. Okay? Okay? Monday morning, we're going to get back on this, y'all. But I'm going to get off of here. I still got to do a video to put up on the Dollhouse about this Kendrick Lamar stuff. But remember this big 3, that beef we just saw with Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole. And then we got the same big 3 beef with W.E.B. Dubois, Marcus Garvey, and Booker T. Girl, you can't make this shit up. Because it's written. That's why you can't make it up. But anyways, I appreciate everybody who done came through and blessed me. Shout out to everybody who sent me a super chat. Shout out to the China doll, the real China doll, for the Cash App. I appreciate you, my love. Y'all, I'm going to get off of here because I got to put another video up. I got to put something to the Dollhouse. I got to do some more pre-recorded content. And with this educational stuff, I will be putting up more pre-recorded content on this too because I think it's imperative. You know what I mean? But we'll come back on Monday and finish this out Monday morning. We'll finish this out on Monday morning. This W.E.B. crap. And we going to go, and that way Friday come, woo-de-woo. I'm sorry about the delays. I'm sorry about the mess ups at the beginning, the hiccups. It just was sending me, but we back, okay? I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all know how we roll around here. Just like I joshed y'all in, I'm going to josh y'all out. And yeah, I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow morning because I got to work, but tomorrow at some point about something. I don't know. We'll deal with it tomorrow. I love y'all. I'm going to josh y'all out like I josh y'all in. Peace, y'all. I'm out this bitch.
check. 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. Come on. That's right. Okay. Can you hear me now? Oh, let's go. It's your boy Big Chew, the voice of the beat.
You know what I want?
Blaze up.
Come on, blaze up.
It's the beat for me.
Wow, 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 for your guy, for your B.O.Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B.O.Y. Do it for your guy, for your B.O.Y. Come on, baby, we live. For your boy, for your boy, also for your boy, fix it for your boy, drop it for your, lift it up, then it bust it open, lift it up, yeah, come on, lift it up, then it bust it open for your B.O.Y. For you, rock it for you, lift it up, baby. Mix it with your boss or not.
Come on, blaze up. You know.
Drop me a nasty beat.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo dog time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.